Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, we're on plot 1 and this is the allotment tour December update on the December jobs, and we've managed to repair all the posts that had got the wind damage. They'd rotted off at the bottom, so these are all now nice and secure, and the jobs for January will be pruning all the raspberry canes back. We'll just move up the plot, and there's no compost here now. That's all gone. That's gone to another plot holder that managed to get me 3 pallet collars, so it's good to help each other out. And the rhubarb has all been put to bed for the winter. It's had its manure and a little top dressing of wood chips just to keep the birds off. We've done a little bit of recycling. We've got a few more barrels, and the pallets which we've used on plot 3 we'll get to shortly. And we've got 7 bags of leaves left to put into the double leaf mould bin. I've put extensions on it because we've got more bags this year, and I don't want those bags lying on top of the raspberries for too long. The 1-year-old leaf mould, that's settling down nicely, and hopefully by February all the leaves will be in there. And we've managed to have a tidy up, and my old wormery is now gone, and I've managed to stack all my cardboard in one place. This is really nice thick cardboard, which would be ideal for the bottom of my new raised beds. Even though I haven't got a weed problem, you never know, I'll do it correctly. And there's some thin cardboard there that I'll top dress the beds this year, but I think the thick cardboard will be a lot better. So I've had a tidy up, but I've got no extra room. I'm going to be marking all these boxes with the yellow tape because it does wear off, and of course plastic, it does deteriorate, but I do try and use them for as long as I can. Tidied up the comfrey, and it's already coming through the surface, and all this has had some liquid plant foods out of the bottles, my demonstration bottles, so it's had about 10 litres of different types of liquid. I'm harvesting the liquid plant foods from the runoff bin, if you haven't seen it before, so apologise to everybody that sees this regular, but that's the compost bin runoff. So that's all my compost for the last what would it be, 10 months. We normally empty this out and use it in our potatoes, etc. And this is my repair where the rats tried to, well, they didn't try, they did get in. You see all the wood chips there, that was from there and up above. And they've even tried gnawing on the nails, and they've actually bitten some of the galvanisation off, but they haven't managed to get into the compost bin. Yay! All the pots are gone now from within the greenhouse and outside. We've had a bit of a tidy up. That's all gone in now, the other compost bin that we've built, and you can just see there now the snowdrops are just started to come through. You can see it better this side, so it's a good job I had a tidy up. So I tidied it up, and with it overnight they've basically they've come up. So we've had a tidy up in here, and next job I've got to sort out, there's the bananas skins from the banana bin, and some of the timber that we've got to burn, that we've got from the pallets from building the new pallet bins. I have 3 wheelie bins of leaf mould. that will go into the new compost bins. So when I say I've got 3 bins to go into the new section, you'll know what I'm on about. I haven't managed to remove this one rhubarb plant or crown. When we go to plot 3, you'll see 4 of these, and what I'm going to do is run these all the way down there. We're going to empty all these and that into, so I'll be able to empty these as we go, so not to move the soil about too much. And then I will in the spring be selecting some of these fruit bushes to go in them, and the buds are showing on that nicely, and we'll see how they do. Now this is my old compost bin, and this is going to be changed from a compost bin to a manure runoff bin. And with all the heavy rain we've had, that's filled up again, and that's within 12 hours. Drip, drip, drip. Oh, it's lovely. I've used some of that on the rhubarb crowns because it's very diluted now. I've just noticed we've got an escapee. They do tend to, I'll cover him up before Mr. Robin has him, but they do tend to try to escape. That's why we've got this mesh on there, so if they do fall out, they've got the option, drown or go into the wood chips to start breaking that down. So that's how that works. This was my banana runoff bin, but it got too big. I'm using smaller containers. I've gone back to smaller containers, easy manageable. I'm going to be taking out that raspberry root, splitting it. My father wants about half a dozen, and then if there's any spare from there, I'll be moving them down to that end where we've got issues with the canes not actually fruiting. And you may be able to see here, these are the raspberries that we didn't pick, and you can't always see on the screen, but there you can see the light coloured seeds if you wish to grow them from a seedling. But when this is all took out, this will be raised up, and this is where I'm going to be putting in the grass cuttings. So I'm going to get a liquid runoff from grass cuttings as well. This is where I've dumped all the recycled timber from the truck find. If we go back a long time, that wood's come in very useful, and I'll be glad when I've done all my projects so I can get some of this all tidied up. So let's move up to plot 3, and as you can see, we're in a right muddy mess. So plot 3, fruit cage, that's all done, tidy, weed free. Just got to get that rhubarb out, but we've had another 2 inches of rain. It's been horrible. This is the dwarf curled green kale. It just goes up in stages, small, small, bigger, and damn massive. That area's been cleared for the start of my raised beds. There's a video on that. No dig raised beds in my playlist. I've cut those pallets down. I've been using the wood off that. This needs rotavating before I start moving about. It's far too wet. This is the soil from over there. That's the soil that was piled up before. Compost, manure, leaf mould that's been rejected, 2 bags of leaves. All these rooty bits are going into the bottom of the beds. This is the compost find that cannabis growers unscrupulously dump. Now, I spoke about the blue barrels. They've been taken from there. They're going over to plot 1. I can make a start on that. That's probably a job I can do. I've now removed half that carrot box so I could extend the compost bin. So originally it was going to be a triple bin. It's gone now to a quadruple. And as I've said in a previous video, we've just gone to 2 there, so we've cut a little bit off. That's where my leaf mold's going. I'm hoping that my visual calculations are right for that. So leaf mold in this bin. This is all my spent potato compost and anything in pots like the tomatoes, where I've used my homemade compost. It's continually breaking down. These are the compost finds from the cannabis growers. This one had the perlite mixed in, so I did a bit of a mix with that. So I've got compost there to use that's got perlite in, and we've also got some cocoa coir, which isn't contaminated other than just by a few roots. But when they're sieved out, they'll go in the bottom of my new raised beds. Way back in the summer, I started putting these slabs in to make a nice barrier between me and my next door plot neighbour, so he can bring his beds and everything to his side. I can put my wood chips there, but I haven't been able to do it because it's been far too wet. So we're going to bring it round to the corner of that container there. And I've managed to get hold of some fresh wood chips, but absolutely saturated, but a little bit better to walk on. In this pot here are the little bulblets from the garlic. That's the remainder of the seed head, the leek pips, and that's what I took from before. And the garlic now, I believe, is just started to poke through. So hopefully end of January we should weed. Oh my god, I've got a weed. By the end of January they should be all up and showing. I've really enjoyed the celery, yeah, you know what I mean. That's been quite pleasant, so that's something I will grow in the future. And the broad beans are looking pretty healthy, other than the ones that were dragged on the floor, and the flea beetle slugs have had a wee meal. It's been so wet that even the coffee grounds and eggshells that you can see there have been washed away, so the slugs have had a field day. So that's one carrot box. The other carrot box was then down there. All the soil's been moved into there, and even the manure right at the bottom was broken down quite a bit, but there was a few stones, so all this will need to go in the bottom. Even though I sieved all this and didn't put too much in that I thought would make the carrots fork, we still had issues. So all the material that's going out of the parsnip and the carrot box will go right in the bottom of the carrots, and hopefully by using some of the compost that I find on the side of the road that hasn't got any nutrients in it will help my carrots be better than what I have now. And I do grow some decent carrots, but I am getting better. I am looking forward to making a start on these beds, but I'm going to be patient. But I am really busy with winter gritting, my wife's job list, so it's having a happy medium. So I may be a little bit late up and running this year, but it will be better the years to come. We've still got lots of potatoes left, and hopefully they'll last, and I'm pretty sure they will, because we don't eat too many. And I need to hang this cabbage up. It's started to go a little bit niffy, and fairly soon I'll be doing a comparison between the carrots grown outside to the carrots grown in here, just to see if there's any different. The tomatoes are going in here this year, and my big project for next year will be raising this polytunnel by 1 metre to give me a bit more headroom. The grapevines have all been pruned back to 2 or 3 buds here and around the arbour on plot 1, which I forgot to show you. Hopefully the pruning again will give me a bountiful crop. I had about 200 bunches. I cut 150 bunches off to leave me with a good 50 more bunches to eat as a salad, not for anything else. So we're just back on plot 1. I'll just show you the grapevine there. Light's always difficult, but hopefully this year there'll be a few grapes hanging in here while I'm sitting down. But look at the green and the mess, everything's absolutely wet through. And the asparagus has all been cut back. I'll just need to tidy that up and perhaps put a little bit of that well-rotted manure on top of it. Question guys, when is it the best time to move asparagus? I've got seeds from this plant. I'm going to set those, get them chitting. Not sure when to do that either, so when's the best time to sow saved asparagus seed, and when's the best time to move that plant? That was a volunteer plant and it just happened to be in that corner, so I don't know whether it was from a seed or whether it was from an actual root. But I do need to move it because it's just in the way there, and that can go in my permanent asparagus bed when I've built it on plot 3. I've added the coffee grounds and the urine to the leaves. Don't need to wet them obviously, but this wet is absolutely awful, and Mrs. King does look at me in disgust every time I've been up the allotment and when we've had a dry period, because I'll get absolutely covered because everything you touch is either dirty or wet, and I always seem to pick up the things that are dirty. Thanks very much for watching my gardening friends, and if you do like my content, then please consider subscribing, please hit the like button, and please comment. It does help my channel grow, and the more it grows, the more comments I get and the more information I can use on my allotment journey. Take care my friends, happy gardening, happy new year, till next time, ta-ra for now. I think I've left them too late.